Somebody told me that the only devils running around are the ones that are in our own hearts. Do you think that that's true?
There are no devils. With the God, all devils disappear. They were shadows of your God. Without God, the devil cannot exist. In fact, the devil and God are two sides of the same coin. There is neither God nor devil. Either asleep or awake. If you are asleep, then life is misery. If you are awake, all disease disappears. For the first time.
Hey you guys, it's your girl Empathetic Beauty, and I am back with another video. You know how I do. Every time I get these downloads, I want to put y'all up on game so y'all can grow just like I am growing. This time, this video is going to be about how the devil ain't real and how the devil is really our shadows. And I know you're like, girl, what is you talking about? But I'm going to get right into that. If you love videos like this, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I wanted to talk about how the devil ain't real and how the devil is our shadows, simply because during my spiritual growth, I'm gonna keep it real 100 with y'all. I have been finding out a lot about myself, and I have been finding out a lot of certain things about people and stuff like that. And growing up and stuff like that, I always thought that things were supposed to be good. You know, things were always supposed to be positive, which is true. But when you go through life that way, that means that when bad things happen to you, you are suddenly in this mood where everything goes downhill. You're depressed, you're stressed out. It's because we all live this life in which everything is good. Everything is like just peaceful and just like I'm gonna go to sleep. Like everything is just like so like good, right? What I have discovered is that there are two sides to the whole entire universe, and that is what you call duality. So it's really not a thing where it's a good or bad or positive and a negative, pro, con. Those things, you can call it that, but it's really duality. And the universe is based on science. Astrology is based on science. You know, a lot of the universe is based on science. So what I've discovered that science is duality. The universe is duality. What duality is that it's the opposites of two things, or it's like contrast between two things. And without duality, it can become unbalanced. And that is basically how science works. Duality is needed in this universe simply because it's balance. Now, the reason why that was so shocking to me is because I had to discover the bad side of myself. Now, I say bad side is because a lot of people will be familiar with bad things are, you know, or negative things, or the cons of what we really are, you know. And that is what you call shadows. It's not the devil, it's shadows. So you have your positive side and you have your shadow side. Now, shadows can be from high frequency to a low frequency. Now, when you're growing in your spirituality, you really have to tap into your shadow. You really have to tap into how to control your shadows. You really have to tap into what your shadows are. And that is what you call shadow work. Shadow work is basically healing from all your traumas, healing from all your pain, healing from all your hate, healing from all your evil. It's no such thing as evil, but in the English term, it's evil, right? But you don't look at it as evil. You look at it as simply duality, just a shadow, right? Now, I am going to say this. When it comes to religion, I always thought that you're supposed to go through life in a positive way, you know? Get married, have kids, have a good house, have the good car, have the good everything, you know, have the good outfits, have the keep yourself up. You know, it always was based around good, positive things. Religion helps you become a better person. I agree with that. But the thing is, though, religion never talks about your shadows. Religion only talks about evil, like the devil. In my Christianity household, I always thought that if you've done bad things, you're easily the devil. You're easily evil. You're just a bad person. You're just a wrong person. You're like disgusting to the religion. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when you think about it, everyone is like that. Everyone. Even animals. Even plants. Everyone has a one side and the other side. And it's basically up to us to figure out which side works for us. That's it. Now, growing up as religious people, or even if you're not religious, we always view things as bad. Now, when it comes to religion, they never talk about bad things, right? And the bad things is your shadows. Shadows can go from telling a simple white lie to becoming a murderer, to becoming a rapist, trigger word, to becoming things that a lot of religious people call evil, disgusting, terrible, a disgrace. But at the end of the day, all humans have a shadow. The only reason why there are murderers and the only reason why there are rapists and just evil people, the only reason why they exist is because they simply could not control their shadows. You ever done something you didn't mean? That's your shadow. Everybody in this whole entire world has done it. And in the religious world, when we do something wrong, we be like, oh my God, I have to pray. Oh my God, I've done so wrong. God forgive me. You don't need God to forgive you. You're just simply using your shadow. Now, when you hurt people, you know, that's basically you not controlling your shadows. You're not supposed to hurt people. But, like I said, that's duality. If hurt people didn't exist, there wouldn't be room for growth. Usually, when someone grows, they come from hurt. You can't grow if you haven't been planted, if you haven't been stepped on, if you haven't been watered. You can't grow from a seed to a rose if nothing happened to you. So that's what I learned during this whole spiritual journey, is that the devil doesn't exist. Or you could say that the devil is in us. Everybody has their duality. All the shadow things that happen is everything that we think. Sometimes we think certain things, but we don't do it because we're like, okay, I'm not going to do that. We have control over it. And once you have no control, your shadow can get the best of you. And then you start hurting people and telling lies and cheating. murdering, shooting people, robbing, slapping people, punching people, stealing, all of those things leads to those shadows that never been worked on, never been talked about. And no one will be able to work on their shadow when they constantly have to pray for doing bad things. What are you praying for? For being yourself? That's who you are. Don't be ashamed of who you are. I've done so many things that I really had to think to myself like, oh my God, I feel bad, I feel horrible. You're not horrible. That's your duality. Every species on this planet has a duality. So when you're dealing with your shadows, you have to accept your shadow side. If you don't accept your shadow side, you are going to be struggling, sis. You are going to be going from snapping out on people to crying afterwards because you can't control your emotions. You can't control your good side and bad side. You're just all over the place. You don't know what's wrong with you. You have to accept everything that is considered wrong. You have to accept your whole self to become whole. You get what I'm saying? Once you become whole, that is when you are your full self. Everybody makes mistakes. That's what it is. That's science. Even science makes mistakes. Even the universe makes mistakes. It's just duality. It's for the experience. But one thing the universe never does is misconstrue the universal laws. It's always a universal law. It has to be this and this. It never can be this and this separate. It always has to be this and this become one. Unity. Consciousness. One whole consciousness. And that also brings me to facing your fears. Fears is your shadows. Sadness is your shadows. Being depressed is your shadows. Fighting is your shadows. You have to face your fears. Like a person that loves to fight, they can become a boxer and get millions of dollars simply because they use their shadow side to get them rich or to get them, where they want to be in life. They are using their shadows to succeed in life. And that's what you can do. Nothing is bad and nothing is good. It's duality. So when you face your fears, you can use your shadows to become your best true self. You have to face your fears. If you fear of being a mother or if you fear of being a bad person, you have to face it and really, really dig deep on why you think like that. You have to find a reason. Once you find a reason, you can use that to support your whole self as a whole being. You have light and dark. Why you think it's morning time and nighttime? That is science. It has to be a light and dark. Who said darkness wasn't beautiful? Darkness is so beautiful. You ever go outside and just look at the stars and the moon and just the beautiful nature? That's darkness. That means that your shadows can become beautiful. I'm not saying that being a murderer is beautiful. I'm not saying that raping is beautiful. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that those people simply couldn't control their shadows. But they had the opportunity to take whatever they was mad at, or whatever they was going through, and make it into something light and just finding their whole self. We are made to feel. We are human. So when we dealing with trauma and dealing with lies and dealing with cheating or whatever you go through, you have to realize that that's just their shadow side. You done fucked up shit too, didn't you? You did some bullshit too, didn't you? That's just your shadow side. But you just have to find a reason on why you did it. Once you find a reason on why you did it, find that reason, turn that reason into positive. And once you turn that reason into positive, you is going to be just like a wholesome, one conscious, beautiful spiritual being. Me personally, my shadow side is being scared of the dark. I cannot be in darkness. I know I just said that when you see certain things like stars and the moon, that is beautiful. But I cannot, ever since a child, I never was able to be inside a dark room. I would literally go crazy. I was that type of child where I would be in my room and the lights is off and I'm looking at something like, what is that? What is that? When I found out about myself, I realized that those type of fears is basically my ability to see spirits, my ability to see shadows, other people's shadows, my ability to feel shadows. So that is what I mean by finding out your shadow and using it to bring light into the situation. So basically, I am working on discovering why and how I can see spirits, because I discovered my fear. I discovered, you know what, I can't be in darkness. Why am I so scared of darkness? So I dig deep into that and be like, I feel stuff when I'm in darkness. I feel something. I feel an energy around me when I'm in darkness. And that is simply because spirits is around me. I feel spirits and I see spirits. That freaked me out. I was going crazy. But I uncovered a gift that I have. You see what I just did there? When you discover your shadows and really figure out why you're lying to people or why you're doing people so wrong, or you discover more about yourself that's so deep spiritually that you love yourself even more because you came out of the mud. You found yourself and you found your higher self. So that makes me also want to talk about is nightmares. Nightmares is basically your shadows, literally. Like in my previous video, I said that black people are gods. That means that we create our own reality. We create everything that happens into our life, right? So for example, when we think of an alligator attacking us, and then after we think of an alligator attacking us, we want food. Then when we go to sleep, next thing you know, it's an alligator chasing us with cupcakes. And then we're like, what the hell? And then the cupcakes turn into guns because we found out that your brother or sister got killed. All of these thoughts here become a big, gigantic story in which turn into nightmares. That's why when you wake up, you be like, what the hell is going on? It's simply all of your thoughts, your shadow thoughts, turning into like a big animal or a big story or whatever you want to think of it as. But at the end of the day, you having those nightmares because you're not handling your shadows. A lot of people have nightmares when they're running from something, and they don't know what they're running from. They're running from a monster, or they are in murder or in anything, and it didn't even happen to them in real life. It's because you thought of that in your brain. And when you think of that in your brain, it goes to your dreams because you are still awake when you're sleeping, in which you have nightmares. Dreams and nightmares. Dreams is the good, is the light, the sun, the water. Darkness is nighttime, the black horse, fire. But when you bring those together, it's one beautiful magic trick. No, seriously, it's beautiful. And that is what you have to do as a human. You have to take your light, take your dark, accept it, and become one. Now, one last thing that I want to talk about is relationships and shadows. A lot of us women, we go after certain type of men that we want, right? And then when we finally get with them, you know, they always say that, oh, a guy appeared so good to me when I met him at first, or a girl appeared so good to me when I met her at first, and then she just started lying, then she just started cheating, then he just started doing this and doing that and doing this. That's simply because that's their shadow coming out, you know? And it's either you can accept it or keep it moving. But if the people that you are in a relationship with, if they can't handle that shadow, then you have the right to leave, because then they get disrespectful. Then they start, you know, treating you bad. So you have to understand that no matter who you're with, it's going to be bad things done to you. They're going to do bad things to you. Either like high bad or low bad. But you're not supposed to just leave as soon as they cross the line or they done horrible things. Now you have your tolerance for certain people. Like I said, some people do go overboard with things. They're not supposed to do things like that. That's because they didn't control themselves. But you can't think that a person has all of these problems and not even acknowledging the good things they done for you. That is how relationships end so fast, because they can't handle one's shadow. You have to accept their shadow. I know it's hard because I'm still dealing with that too. Hell, I'm even accepting my own shadows. We don't like accepting other people's shadows. That's why when we look at the news, we be like, why did he do this? Why did she do that? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? It's just basically darkness. And the only way to control darkness is to give yourself morning time, sis. What's morning time without nighttime? What's nighttime without morning time? You have to love the two. And that's how your relationship can become strong, because you accept someone's flaws. You accept someone's flaws. Flaws is someone's shadow. And the biggest tip that I can give you on relationship, this is not a relationship video, but the biggest tip is learning each other's shadows, talking about each other's shadows. A lot of people don't want to talk about their shadows. They're embarrassed. They feel like they're being judged, or they feel like that you will leave them, or they just feel all types of ways, because once they tell you about their shadows, they feel a certain way. But once y'all get to a place where y'all both can sit down and talk about y'all shadows, y'all are impeccable. Y'all are beautiful, and y'all gonna last forever. You can't focus on the good side of relationships. Not everything is glitter and gold and bright and beautiful. Y'all have to deal with some darkness. Y'all have to heal each other. And that is a part of your shadow work. Healing, that is how you grow into the beautiful person that you are. So at the end of the day, whenever something bad happens to you or evil happens to someone, you have to accept it and learn that it's duality. That's science doing what it needs to do to create balance in someone's life. That is the universe creating balance. Every time something bad happens, good come out of it, and vice versa. It's duality and it's balance. So at the end of the day, whenever you're thinking about the devil, know that the devil is in you too, your shadow. The devil is simply what you make it out to be. The devil is your shadows. The devil is our shadows. Now, when you're in a different room, those shadows can become monsters. I'm talking about things you've never seen before. And that's only because all of the thoughts that in everyone's head is creating a huge formation of pure darkness. And a lot of people call them demons. You have to learn how to control these demons, because these demons don't like light. They don't like fire. That's why you have fire rituals. That's why you have light rituals, sun rituals. You use the sun to heal your shadows. Heal that monster inside of you. And that monster inside of you will become a warrior, will become a soldier, will become resilient, brave, unique, strong. And then you have your other side, lovable, kind, caring. And once you put those two together, that's beauty. That's a real beauty. So that's all I have for you guys. I have learned that it is duality in this universe, and you cannot function as a species if you don't have duality. So when it comes to religion, remember what I said. There's no such thing as praying because you did something wrong. Accept you're wrong. Accept it and grow with it. Learn that it is you. Learn that it is your dark side. Sexuality is not evil, okay? Wearing sexy things is not evil, you know? Doing things like that as a woman is not evil. You're supposed to be sexual. You're supposed to wear sexy things. You're supposed to be sassy. You're supposed to be fierce. You can curse, shit, fuck, bitch. All of that is not evil. All of that is not disrespectful. And I'm not disrespecting myself. It's simply who I am. It's duality. It's the good me and bad me. Take it or leave it. And you also have to face your fears. Face your shadows. Look your shadows in the eye and say, what is wrong with you? What do you need me to do to make you powerful, to make you resilient? And your shadows will talk to you. And when you're in a relationship, accept that person for who they are, with their shadows and all. You don't deal with no bullshit, but when someone does wrong, try to understand them. But if they don't understand themselves, they're not going to understand the relationship. Y'all have to have understanding. Know that there is light and dark. There has to be a morning, there has to be a night, and you must become one with yourself. You can't love your lips but don't like your eyes. You have to become your whole entire self. And when you have those shadow nightmares, wake up, write it down, or talk to yourself as to why that is happening. Why are you having these nightmares? Look certain things up, research certain things. You will discover your shadows. You will discover your devil. Everyone has a devil side, whether you like it or not. You are a devil, but you also are an angel. So at the end of the day, you have to realize that it is duality and life cannot exist without one or the other. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a little bit of information on why there is evil, why there is bad, and I hope you learned a little something from this video. I will see you next time. Stay dangerous. Mwah.